Hello and welcome again to another episode of Battle Ready.
Yeah.
And today I thought we'd talk about embracing the carnage.
Blood for the blood god.
Which is because Khorne is one of the few armies.
We don't have.
I don't know about few, but one of the armies that we don't have.
We have models for him.
Do we?
Yeah, one of the warbands is Khorne.
Oh, that's true. We have the claws of Carnage or whatever. Yeah. But the reason I thought of this topic is because, you know, there are a lot of different kinds of games out there, right? And one of the things that it's not unique to Warhammer, but I think is characteristic of Warhammer, is that your army is going to get pummeled, right? You are going to get your guy, you're going to kill a lot of their guys, but they are going to kill a lot of your guys.
Yep.
You know, your second and third battle round is really where you're moving and doing a bunch of stuff. And then battle rounds 4 and 5, if you even get there, are like,
I have no toys left.
This will go real quick because I've got like 3 units left. Let's do this thing.
Yep.
Right?
3 models, time to go win the game.
Right. And it's funny because like my wife, Drake's mom,
Yeah.
will never play Warhammer.
No.
Maybe at some point I can get her to try a game of Spearhead. She did play one game of Warcry one time.
Did you like it?
I think she was being nice to me. It was very close to my birthday when she played, so that might have had something to do with it. But she just doesn't like those kinds of games
Where her stuff gets broken.
Right? She'll play Dominion as long as you're not playing the Witch. She'll play. I'll tell you later. It's one of the few cards in Dominion that make you hurt other players. She'll play any kind of game. She'll play games where Castles of Burgundy is another good one. Where
a civilization builder.
Yeah, a civilization builder is another good one. As long as there's no attacking, right? Because she doesn't like to build up a thing and then have you come in and kill it, right? Now, I don't think she's ever going to change her mind, and that's fine. Not every game is for every player, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I do think that if you're the kind of person that thinks these little models are cool, you want to build them, you want to paint them, and you want to field them and actually get to play with your toys on the battlefield, you're going to have to get used to the idea that some of those models that you spent so many hours painting and lovingly caressing as you built them, they're going to explode.
Poor Gordrak.
So Drake, when we first started playing, sometimes you would be unhappy when some of your models died, right?
I was 9.
Yeah. Okay, you were young, right? But the reason I say that is that's not so much the case anymore.
Yeah.
So what steps did you take to overcome that? Why are you more comfortable with it now than you were then, other than just maturing and getting older?
I feel like I've become insensate to the violence, and it just doesn't trigger sadness as it used to.
I think that's a big part of it. I think, I've played a lot of. I love board games. I've played many, and one of the things that I love about them is I have fun playing them. And win or lose doesn't super matter. Of course, I try to win, but it doesn't super matter because just playing the game is fun. And the reason I feel that way is because at this point I've played, I don't know, thousands of games, of plays of games. I haven't played 1,000 different titles, but like thousands easily. And I have just learned that, I'm going to win some, I'm going to lose some. And if the only thing that mattered was winning, many of those thousands of games would have been unfun. And I'd be like, well, why am I doing this? Why am I spending all this time? But if you just have fun with all of it, then you have fun playing, right? And I think it's the same way with a game like Warhammer, where if the first few times all your models die, might be sad, But then as it happens more and more and more, and as you win some and lose some, sometimes the dice favor you, sometimes they don't, you start to realize, oh yeah, I lose a unit, it doesn't super matter. It doesn't stop my fun, right? I think that's a really good point, that in some ways you do have to just embrace the carnage.
Yeah.
You just have to say, all right, I'm going to just accept that this is the way the game is.
All these toys are going to explode, Nate.
And live my life, play my game, knowing that that's a given. In the same way that I live my life knowing gravity is going to hold me down, right? I don't make any plans thinking that gravity might stop. I know that it's going to hold me down. I play Warhammer just knowing as a fact that some of my stuff, much of my stuff, is going to explode. What else? What else do you think helps?
What about you?
Well, I'll tell you another one. I think one thing that has helped me is that when I play the game, I often really, really focus on the story that's being told, right? I like it when, even if my guy dies, it's cool when my Carnosaur is killed by a glaive wraith, right? It's like, oh, the Carnosaur died, but he was killed by the lowliest of lows, right? And you have these stories that develop on the battlefield. And it doesn't super matter to me whether my guy's the one doing the killing or getting killed. If I get to be part of the story that's told on the battlefield, I'm happy. I'm excited because my focus is in large part, not entirely, but in large part, on the narrative that's being created, on the story of the battlefield. And therefore, whether my pieces happen to live or die is less important to me. So I think that's a big way to embrace the carnage is you just say, all right, look, if my guys die, but I get a cool story out of it, that's what I'm here for. Mm. Right? Now, if you're at a tournament, you're trying to, well, first of all, if you're at a tournament just having fun, and go for that same way. If you're at a tournament trying to go 5-0, and so you're not really there for the story, who cares? You're there for the win. That might not be the best approach. Make a better list. That's how you avoid your guys from dying in that situation. But I think that is a good way to like take your mind off the fact that you are losing pieces because you're creating a cool story.
Yeah.
Other thoughts?
If they fail in spectacular ways, it makes me laugh, like Rumspittle every time.
Yeah,
every time.
That's the narrative part, right? If the more memorable and the more interesting the deaths, the better it is. Yeah. And plus, I think sometimes, so like your orc chieftain dies basically every time.
He doesn't survive a game.
But it's also because you love throwing him into the middle.
That's where the brutes need to go.
So, but I think it's fun because you're shooting him in like a missile. And then you get to sort of see what happens. And a lot of times he does a lot of work before he dies, right?
And sometimes he just gets exploded.
Yeah, sometimes he doesn't do very much. But sometimes he takes some people down and then finally he gets brought down. And it's cool. It tells a story. It's like, oh, yes, this is why he was the leader of the Wa, right? Because look at all the things he left in his wake before finally somebody brought him down.
And sometimes the brutes are like, is this guy really the boss?
Yeah, sometimes the brutes are like, why were we following this guy? He's dead now. So, yeah, I definitely think that's part of it. And also, I feel like one way to be sure to embrace the carnage, yeah. I think, is just to recognize as you play the game that you're gonna trade a lot of things. So lots of your stuff is gonna die, but lots of their stuff is gonna die too. Yeah. Right? So now there may be games where, the dice are just crazy against you, and so all your toys die and theirs all live, and that can be a bummer. But I think when you're killing just same as they're killing you, and both of you are losing units, and both of you are, giving up position, and your flank on the right is crumbling, but their flank on the left is crumbling, so you're sort of you end up in a circle pattern. Stuff like that can be really fun because you're seeing the battlefield evolve and change and develop, and that's pretty cool. And I think it's easier to embrace your models dying when you're seeing the opponent die too, right? Because it's like, all right, we're both losing people. Hopefully, I'm losing them a little bit slower, or my stronger pieces are surviving while your stronger pieces are dying. But the carnage is happening on all sides, so it doesn't feel like I'm just sitting here getting pummeled, where you were having the time of your life doing all the pummeling.
Yeah.
Other thoughts?
How about you go again?
Drake said, I got one thing to say, and I said it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So actually, I would love to know in the comments below what you think, how you embrace the carnage. Is it ever a feel bad moment to have to pick up your toys, or have you fully embraced the fact that picking up your toys is, I wouldn't say half the game, but quarter of the game?
Around there.
Right, something like that is you're going to be taking those things up because they're going to die. Your army is going to be killed every time, or at least portions of your army are going to be killed every time you play this game. So how have you embraced the carnage, and what makes the game still fun, even though that list that you spent hours thinking about, you planned, you selected all the things, maybe you even got a narrative for, like Grimspittle, right?
That's a game.
And then he dies. It's like, oh, that thing I spent so much time. Or even better, you get the new model curse.
No.
Or the first time you build a model and paint him, the first time he's on the battlefield, it seems like every time you're so excited to play this new model, he flubs every roll, he doesn't make his charges, he gets wiped off the board without doing anything. New model curse, I think, is real. I don't believe in a lot of curses, but that one seems real.
Yeah.
So let us know in the comments below what you think of embracing the Carnage, how you go for it, and how you still have fun, even though many of your toys are getting kicked right off the battlefield.
Will Grimspittle ever survive a game?
No, not if I have anything to say about it. All right, you have any final thoughts?
I actually did think of one more.
All right, do one more.
Not caring about the toys that die.
Yeah, how do you do that?
No, I mean, like, if they're your champion, it's like, no.
Yeah.
Like, if you're playing the Gash and just have a whole bunch of minions underneath you, you're just like, oh, 80 zombies, or like 8 zombies just died. I don't care. I've got like.
You know what? I think that's a good idea too. If you have a hard time getting over losses of units, maybe it's a good idea to play a lot of zombies and skeletons. Or maybe it's a good idea to play a lot of clan rats. Something where you've just got so many of them that when they die, you think,
I got more.
I got plenty. And they're coming back, right? Maybe an elite army where you lose one group of Varangard and you're like, oh, that hurts so bad. Maybe you don't play elite armies. You start with horde-ish armies, and then as you develop that comfort, you can play more and more elite from there. I think that's a good idea. That's not bad. Anyway, let us know what your thoughts in the comments below. This has been another episode of Battle Ready.
Good.
Thanks so much for watching.